I build every brand. The first thing I do is I start with why are we doing this? What's our purpose? It's not money, it's not, you know, being famous. It's why are we doing this for society? That's how we start, and we drive everything to that purpose, to that why.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Growth and Scaling Podcast. Today, our guest is someone who doesn't like to hide much about his business. In fact, that is his whole business, is to be transparent in everything he does. Eric, will you please tell us who you are and what do you do?
Hi, Todd. Thanks for having me. My name is Eric Malka, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I think I'm on my 12th company now with a brand called Ingredients,
Nice.
which is a combination of my 25, 30 years experience in the beauty and wellness space. Ingredients is a brand that creates products made with 100% plant-based and that are sustainably packaged
Love it.
and radically transparent. We are the first beauty cosmetic brand, if you will, to expose our exact formulation on the front of our bottles so that consumers know exactly what they're putting on their skin.
That is cool. And that, to be honest, is about all you see on the front of your bottles, right?
That's it. We're the anti-marketing, which some people say is brilliant marketing, but we're not about fluff. We just want to put on the bottle what the consumer needs to know to make an educated decision about the products that they are going to use every day, in their lives.
I love it. I would encourage anyone listening to this, just pull up your phone right now and go to ingredientswellness.com. Like, you got to check this out. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. And Eric, I applaud you for this. Was this your idea or your wife's idea?
It's usually both our ideas. My wife and I have been partners since the day we met 30 years ago. And
Awesome.
she's more of the creative mind, and I'm more of the strategic mind. So, we never know where the
I love
ideas
it.
come from. Comes from both of us.
That's awesome. And kudos to you for being able to do business with your wife and
I
stay together this
I
long.
have
I
no
think it's
choice. I
awesome.
have no choice. She's the best in the industry. I mean, I can't find better
That's
than her.
awesome.
She's just as good as it gets. But,
There you go.
it's like having kids, man. Each one of our brands is it's like a child, that we create.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Well, this is a
But we
that is
fight. Listen, I don't condone it. I'm not saying work with your spouse. I'm just saying, in
right.
my case, she's the best out there.
That's awesome. Well, I think I would like to think most people think their wife is the best thing out there in something, right? But as a business
In
partner,
something, right?
and I'm so inspired by that because I've never, my wife would just
Well,
assume not know about the business.
Miriam is her name, and she made our first product. She was 22 years old in our kitchen in New York City,
Awesome.
and we've sold over 1 million units of that one
Ah,
formula
love it.
since then. So
Love it.
yeah, she's pretty good.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you have that going for you. It is honestly, that's a whole episode in and of itself, which we won't get into right now, but I applaud you for that. Like, that is unique and very cool that you've been able to do that.
Yeah, I'll get a medal one day.
Seriously. Seriously. No, very
All
cool.
right, let's
So
let's
yeah, so the
let's talk
product.
about scaling and
Yes, let's hit it. So ingredients. So tell us about, like, who is this product designed for? It's obviously in the beauty and fashion world, but who did you build this for, and what was your motivation in being so transparent?
well, we're obsessive about everything that goes into our products.
Right.
And therefore, we decided to call the brand after what's inside, which is ingredients. We have a few trademarks on that name, actually.
Love it.
And having spent 30 years in the cosmetic industry, we had a front row seat to how these products are manufactured. Personal care products are highly toxic. They're
Right.
made with petroleum-based ingredients, synthetic ingredients. They're loaded with water. They're
Right.
expensive. Um, and we are just fed up with that. So we wanted to not be a critique. We wanted to show that there was an alternative way to make safe, transparent, and effective products at the same time, delivered at a reasonable price. Those
Love
are
it.
four things that you don't see often in the industry.
No.
Usually you see pretty toxic products that don't work, that are super expensive.
Yes. Agreed. I've got 3 daughters and a wife, so I'm very familiar with this problem you're trying to solve out there. I love it, actually. I think it's awesome. So as you,
This is a colossal problem that is mostly unknown by consumers, by the way.
I
So
think it's
that's the
getting more
challenge.
known.
One of the challenge. It is. Oh, no doubt.
I,
No doubt.
I
We've
mean,
seen it evolve over the last 20 years.
I was going to say the evolution of this is so cool to watch because, I can remember my wife. She's a fairly, simple in terms of makeup and things like that. She doesn't like to overdo it. She's naturally beautiful in my opinion,
Good.
but she was always concerned about what was going on her face and what was going in her hair and all that kind of stuff.
Good.
And I always thought that is so cool because a lot of women, they just, how much is it? Okay, I need that one, the more expensive, for no reason other than it's better branded. And so this is a fascinating phenomenon
Yeah,
that you're
it's
trying
marketing
to.
dollars.
Right, right. And I hear my daughters on their Instagram feeds are constantly getting new information about what's in it, how it's damaging them. Tell us how that kind of inspired you, and is that a big piece of your go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. We don't want to be the brand that is just fear mongering out there with petroleum toxic ingredients.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, that doesn't always
So we're
work.
trying to figure. But the brand has a lot of unique positive characteristics that we can rely on. This is a science-backed plant-based product.
Right.
And the way we deliver efficacy is by formulating products with 8 ingredients or less so that we can deliver those ingredients in high concentration.
Cool.
And that's how we're able to really deliver results for the end user.
Cool.
Many products out there use trace amounts of
Yeah.
these hero ingredients,
Yeah.
and they're virtually useless
Yeah.
to the end user.
When they're that
You can
diluted.
find 50 to 80% of every personal care product out there is water. That's what you're buying. When you buy a shampoo, it's 80% water.
Crazy.
So we replace water with plant hydrosols, which have a real purpose. It's more expensive, but we buy them directly from the source, and we try to really control our costs.
Wow.
And deliver a good value to consumers. To really, listen, we just want to have a positive impact. I've spent most of my life thinking about myself.
Yeah.
How do I use my business to get what I want?
Right.
And I've been
Right.
blessed. I've been blessed in my life, and now it's all about how can I help one person, a million person, a billion person
Yeah.
to avoid these toxic chemicals in their daily lives. Whether it's toothpaste, shampoo, lipstick, or bath soaps.
Right.
These things are just horrendous for not only humans, but the
Right.
environment. These microplastics are just horrendous.
I've heard, and obviously, as a man, I'm pretty simple in the way I care for my everything. But you know what? My daughters have taught me that I need to be more mindful of lotions and things that I'm putting on.
You are.
Right? How do you go
Absolutely,
about
but
solving this problem?
guys are less at risk than women. Women
Yeah.
use on average 400 to 500 chemicals a day. Guys, deodorant, hair gel, shampoo, they don't use that many products.
No.
So a guy will have 50 to 100 chemicals a day. The average woman will have over 500 chemicals a day. Some
Insane.
more than that.
Insane.
And if you do that for one day, it's no big deal. But over 30-year period, the toxic chemical load in your body can really result in some health issues.
I would imagine so. I would imagine. And we've all been poisoning ourselves.
There's no doubt.
And we've all been poisoning ourselves for years now. So how are you able to take these products and build your growth journey? You've been doing this particular line for what, 4+ years now? And how has that gone?
No, we launched 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
We had a very good amazing reception
Awesome.
from retailers, first of all.
Good.
That was our first entry into the market. We are sold in over 120 stores in North America.
Nice.
And we're also sold in strategic locations in Asia and Middle East and other places.
Cool.
So that was a really good start for us.
Good.
To be in the right stores, to present the brand to their consumers that are looking for healthier, cleaner products.
Which everyone is.
Everyone is, but there's also a lot of greenwashing. I mean, a lot of brands are saying that they do what we do, but you have to be an expert to know that they don't, that they're still diluting.
Right.
They're still using some harsh chemicals. They're heading in the right direction, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're not my main problem. If you're 80% clean, I'm okay with you compared to people that are just 100% toxic.
Right.
But there's a lot of greenwashing out there because consumers really care about this.
Yeah.
And big corporations are listening to consumers and they're giving them lip service, natural flavors and all these words that they use that are just masking petroleum products.
Running a business, honestly, can leave a lot of founders and operators feeling lonely and isolated. If you have ever felt that way, trust me, I know what it feels like. And there is something you can do about it. You've heard a lot of our guests talk about the fact that being lonely and isolated is one of their biggest challenges in trying to run and scale their business. CaptainsCouncil.com. Go to CaptainsCouncil.com right now and see what we're doing to resolve this problem. We want you to be a strong operator who has solutions and has a way to get around the challenges you're currently facing. What most founders don't understand is that you're not alone. The challenges that you're facing, likely somebody else has already overcome, and they can give you the feedback you need to overcome them. Who better than your peers, other founders, other operators who are joining with you in a small group setting, a global community setting, as well as at our in-person events to guide you through these challenges that you're facing right now. Don't give up, keep on pushing, but do it with some good advice from your peers. Go check it out at CaptainsCouncil.com and let me know what you think about the offering. We can't wait to see you there. Well, and not just petroleums. We've found about 2 years ago, we discovered that 2 of our kids were celiac, and we were shocked at a lot of the triggers that are thought to lead into that. And, it's dyes, it's all sorts of toxins in everything that we eat and put on our face.
The kids are the most at risk.
Right? It's insane.
For some reason, we think that kids can have the most toxic foods and candies in their life, and we shouldn't have any because we're older.
Right.
They're informative years. You should be very careful. These colorants and there was a time not so long ago that chewing gum was 100% natural. Today, it's 100% petrochemical, from fake sweeteners to plastic chewing substances.
Wow.
And colorants. And this is what kids are eating all day long.
Yeah.
So, I'm very passionate about human health and environmental health. And those two are inextricably linked to petroleum. And I'm not saying we need to stop petroleum, but, we're just abusing it. These 500 million bottles a day of single-use water. That needs to be illegal,
Seriously, right?
Using petroleum to create medical tools that doctors use for years on end, I think that's great. But, chugging a bottle and throwing it in the ocean just doesn't work for me.
Right. All right. I totally agree with you on all these points. And I think that for those listening, the product is obviously solid. Let's learn more about your go-to-market strategy, though, because you're obviously up against a lot of big money, billions and billions of dollars being spent in this industry.
Yeah.
How do you go from being, hey, my wife and I came up with these amazing recipes, to, hey, we're now launching a full-on attack on, and being so transparent that everybody else is going to be wanting to shut us down? How do you go into that? What's the mindset like?
Well, I build every brand. The first thing I do is I start with why are we doing this? What's our purpose?
Right,
It's not money. It's not, being famous. It's why are we doing this for society?
right,
That's how we start, and we drive everything to that purpose, to that
right.
why, from our advertising to our, processes to the people we hire.
Yeah,
We hire people that already believe in this mission,
right.
with their heart. That's how we build companies, with a lot of passion
Yeah,
and purpose. Um, then we decided to actually be radically transparent. We've been seeing these large formulations in tiny fonts, and as I get older, I can't even read them anymore. In the
right,
back of the bottles, in the back of the boxes, and we said, you know what? We want to bring ingredients out of obscurity. It's not about the packaging. It's not about the marketing claims. It's about what's inside the bottle. It's about what's inside the people that matters most.
right, right,
And this is how we're going to stand out. We're going to do the opposite of everyone else. If you want to be noticed
right,
in a crowd of people wearing white, you just have to dress in red.
right,
You're gonna stick out. And
right.
that's a little bit our strategy is to is to be different
I love it.
and to really and to be innovative. Everything we do has to be innovative at all levels. We're an innovation driven enterprise. And
Right.
so purpose and innovation is how we're looking to win the race. Now, depending on how much resources we put to it, we're going to win that race sooner or later.
Right.
Um,
So,
we're at a stage in our career where we're not obsessed with scaling and selling the business to the highest bidder anymore. That
right,
we've been there. We're
right.
doing something different. I'm actually motivated by being a what is called a small giant. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if you've heard that term before.
Yeah.
That's something that resonates at this stage of my career, is to really focus on quality more than, we want to create a company that is great, not just big,
Right.
just great quality, really impacting the community, having a positive impact on our customers' life,
Sure.
and
Sure.
really being high quality at all levels.
It feels like this type of product, I've seen it distributed in a lot of different ways. A lot of these are, MLM type models that is a form of
Yeah.
distribution. Why did you choose
hmm
not to do that? And did you even consider that? I'm just curious from a marketing
I,
perspective.
I have.
Yeah.
I have considered MLM many times, but I know what I don't know. I don't know everything that I don't know, but there's a few things I don't know. I don't know how to do MLM. I
Right.
just don't, I've never done it. I don't know how to do it.
Right.
And I try to do what I know how to do, right?
Right. Right.
Which is premium brick and mortar distribution, direct to consumer. We know how to create beautiful brands,
Awesome.
um, and aesthetically with high quality. You know, we try to compensate for our lack of resources to recruit customers as fast as the big boys
Yeah,
with our ability to retain customers with high quality
for
service
sure.
and products.
For sure. That's smart.
And at the end, we catch up to them.
Yeah.
That snowball at the end, you're from Utah.
Yeah.
That little snowball at the end, gets to be a big ball.
They're big balls.
And that's what we focus on, is customer retention through high quality, high value, high service to customers.
I love it. So moving forward, I mean, you're obviously, I think you're in a situation where you're stable enough not to be so desperate for growth that you're willing to do anything, it sounds like. But in your growth strategy, I mean, where do you want to be? Where do you want to, what kind of impact do you want to have with this brand?
Frankly, we want to change the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I've always built my businesses on the premise of thinking really big and starting really small.
Right.
Um, you know, you want to test the thesis. You know, you don't have scaling from day one is not always the best approach. You
Agreed.
know, sometimes overnight sensations take 10 years of work.
Agreed.
But we are thinking very big. We want to change the world as we know it.
Yeah.
We want to make this a healthier planet with healthier humans living in it.
Love it. Love it. Very, very cool mission. Now, the challenges in trying to accomplish that are probably a little daunting. What have you found so far
Sure.
that may be surprising to you that you didn't expect? Because I know you've been in the industry for a while, but launching this brand, are there things that you've hit that you weren't
Well,
expecting?
sure. I mean, first of all, my last brand was in the 90s and 2000s. So
Right.
the world we're in a different planet right now than we used to be. So
Yes.
building a brand back then and building, so a lot of my knowledge is out the window. Actually, my knowledge of last year is out the window, right?
Right.
It's a whole different landscape out there. It's moving very fast,
Yeah.
and it's really a game of you just have to leverage your strengths, your
Right.
superpowers. And the conglomerates, their superpower is money.
Yeah.
The grassroots entrepreneurs, it's resilience and hustle.
Right.
They're working 12 hours a day. For us, it's the time horizon.
Right.
We're not looking to build a brand and sell it in 5 to 10 years like we did in the past.
Right.
I want to do this. This is my mission for the rest of my life.
I love
I
it.
want, and it takes 30, 40 years to have an impact. Look at what happened in the last 20 years. We used to talk about this 20 years ago, and now everybody's talking about it. Now we're talking about something even bigger. And
Yeah.
it might take 20 years for us to become a household name,
Who
So
knows?
my superpower is time horizon.
Yeah.
Slow horse wins the race, and the snowball effect of high quality and returning obsessive advocates as customers.
I love it. Now you've been involved in a lot of PE investment opportunities, things like that in the past. Have you bootstrapped this,
I
or are
still
you
am.
using? Yeah, you still are.
Uh,
How have
I
you
still
been?
invest.
Sorry. So in this business, are you
No,
approaching this as a bootstrapper, or are you approaching this with some smart money?
both,
Good.
both. We are self-funded,
Uh-huh.
um, but my team, that runs this company,
Yeah.
I'm not their sugar daddy. I'm their investor.
I love it.
So I use the same discipline, anyone who comes to me with a business plan, whether they're my company or somebody
Love it.
else's company, I look at them with the same eyes, and they have to show me that their business plan is worth investing in.
Right.
I'm not interested in wasting any money, but I will invest heavily behind something great.
Love it.
And if I need more, I have access to capital. But right now, we're self-funded.
Love it.
We're 100% owner of our company. Um,
Congratulations.
and, you know, well, thank you. But it's all about testing and finding the crack and going into that, threading that needle. And then you can put money behind it. Once you
Love it.
find the business model that works, you just have to scale it as much as you can if
Love it.
with your resources. So no pressure, man. It's a long game.
I love it.
Some people, I used to run sprints in business. Now I run marathons. That's the difference.
Well, it's smart advice. And for those listening, I hope you're listening carefully, because there are multiple ways to approach your business growth. Don't rush into growth if you haven't really dialed in the avatar. Like if you haven't dialed in the message and the avatar and who's buying your products, it's probably not a great time to scale. But when you've dialed that in, you can turn a couple levers and get the thing moving as fast as you really want to. Would you agree with that?
That's right. 100%. I have a framework that I use in every area of my life. it's part of the human cycle, which is that you have to crawl first to walk, and
Right.
then you have to walk before you run.
Right.
And then after you're running, you can start flying. And if you try to run when you're after crawling, you're going to fall on your face. That's what
100%.
happens to toddlers. So
100%.
you can apply this human cycle to businesses.
Oh yeah.
And the first day you should be crawling, and crawling could last 2 weeks. It could last 2 years.
Totally agree.
It depends on the individual situation,
Totally agree.
but don't skip those evolutions.
Yep.
And you're right, man. Once you understand how to acquire your customer at a reasonable, investment, then you
Right.
can turn up the flame.
Right. I love it.
That's what it's about.
Well, Eric, I wanted to have you give you a second to give a shout out to somebody, and we usually ask that is somebody in your network, someone in your community that's inspired you to do and go and grow and do what you're doing. I have a suspicion I might know who it is, but who is your shout out today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you think it's my wife, which I
Yeah.
always shout out to. She always puts pressure on me to perform, so I have to give her a lot of credit.
Right.
You
Right.
need some external pressure sometimes to push yourself. But listen, I'm very lucky. I have a lot of great people. I belong to an organization called Entrepreneur Organization, EO and
Yeah.
YPO,
Yep.
and I have a great group of 7 wise guys, wise men
Love it.
around me that keep me honest and keep me sane, always looking out for my blind spots, and
Yep.
they get a lot of credit for where I am in the last 10 years.
Love it. Love it. I highly suggest for anyone listening, if you're not part of an organization where you can get that peer feedback from other founders and other operators, it is so life-changing. You need to consider being part of one. And I can't emphasize that enough. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Thank you. Yeah, it's huge. It was huge.
Cool.
And I want to send you and your family some products. So do share some kind of mailing address. You don't have to give me your home address. I won't show up. But I want to send you some.
Hey, you can come hang with the family. We're all good. Well, listen, I appreciate so much your mission, what you're doing, and I especially appreciate your time today and sharing with our community these thoughts, because it really does take listening to someone who's done it to really absorb what you're trying to say. It's hard to listen to someone who's never been there. So I appreciate all that you've told us and all that you've shared with our community. And I wish you guys the best. Honestly, I'm excited about your brand. I think it's just hilarious when I pulled up your site and was looking at the products and thought, this is so rad. Like, it's just so cool. So thank you for what you're doing. And thanks for
being... The proof is in the pudding. You're going to get some.
Awesome. I look forward to it. And we look forward to catching up with all of you on the next one. Eric, thank you. All your contact info will be in the show notes below. Hey, thank you so much for being a part of this. We cannot do this without your support. So thank you for sharing this episode. Thank you for listening to the end. And quite frankly, I appreciate your enthusiasm and your growth and scaling journey. Thank you for sharing the comments below. We look forward to getting back to you and engaging with you in any way that we can. We look at you as our listeners as part of our community. We have a community of podcast listeners, and we have a community like Eric talked about, where founders can come together in a peer networking group to learn, share, and grow together. It is so lonely running a business. There is no one on your team that can really understand the burden that you carry in your growth and scaling journey. Come find out what Captain's Council is all about and be a part of what we're trying to build in our group and in our community of podcast listeners and clients. We have worked with a lot of these people in their growth journeys, and they work with each other in trying to grow and scale responsibly. As I mentioned before, we cannot grow this podcast without our listeners, and we hope that what we're providing to you are tactical, practical ways to grow and scale your business. Thanks for being part of our community. We look forward to catching up with you on the next episode. Please do what you can to support us by liking, sharing, subscribing, doing what you can to build momentum as we try to reach as many founders and operators as we can who are trying to deal with growth and scaling at this point in their game. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll catch up with you on the next episode.